Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony for Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat KANO. And this is a figure that looked like it was going to be pretty darn good when they first showed it, and I have good news and bad news. The good news is, it is pretty darn good. The bad news is, it's not perfect. There are some things we need to talk about. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 18 centimeters. That's going to make him pretty close to, let's say, 7 1/16 of an inch. Got some size to him. Not a ton here. He is up against Darwin. Definitely not a 1/12 scale. Darwin's already a little bit too big for that. Gone are the days of even pretending this line is 1/12 scale. I don't think they're even claiming it anymore, though, so that is okay. Also, just a reminder, guys, Big Bad Toy Store is the official exclusive online retailer for Storm Collectibles in the USA. There is a link in the description below. If you guys want to get these, then that's probably going to be where you want to go get them. And they are getting exclusives also. I mean, they kind of did that before, but now it seems to be more consistent that Big Bad Toy Story is getting more exclusives of the character. So if you like color variants, then that might be where you want to look for them. Alright, so question of the day. Which version of KANO is your favorite? For me, it has to be the live action version. I think that guy was probably the best character in the whole movie. And probably, I'd say probably the best version of KANO ever. Let me know what you guys think. I know this guy's traditional bald KANO, but I like the Australian with the black guile hair. Or brown, whatever color his hair was. Okay, this guy looked pretty good in the photo, still looks pretty good, but I have to say the first thing I noticed is he looks too chunky. I don't think in the game he was this chunky, and I think on the figure it's even chunkier than it should be because of the way they did the outfit. He just looks really, really, really chungus. I don't know how much that's going to bother you guys or not. You can let me know in the comment section below, but he is bulky, very bulky in the torso. And it's not helped by the fact that he has a very short neck. If you can wiggle his head up just a little bit on that ball peg, it does help. But he's still quite chungusy. Once you pose him, it goes away. So it's not that big of a deal, or it kind of goes away. But it is worth mentioning. Otherwise, aesthetically, it's pretty nice. You can see they have their detail painting going on. Everything looks nice and tight for the most part. Not absolutely perfect, but altogether it looks good. I think the faces are pretty nice. In the promo photos, they have harsh lighting on them, and I mean like harsh shadows to bring them to life a little bit more. It's pretty good though. It looks soft. If you have some shadows cast, let's see if I can turn off a light and see if that helps. Yeah, if you turn off a light or make sure he's got some shadows going on, they do have nice details in the face, but they're not as detailed, for lack of a better word, as it looks like they are in the photos, but I do think it's fairly accurate. And it's nice. Eyes nice, robo face is nice. All together, it looks pretty solid. Little bit of stubble around the mouth. I think it looks really good. I am pretty pleased with the way this figure came out. Other than the chung, he's a little chunky, but otherwise it's pretty darn good. So aesthetically speaking, I like it. Proportions aren't bad, other than, again, the chunk. So I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. It looks solid. Now, as far as accessories go, he has a whole bunch. Let's start with the heads. He has the neutral head that comes on him in the package. Then he has the one with his mouth open a little bit. Then he has the one with his mouth open a lot. Then he has the one where his eye is missing because he comes with a laser beam for the eye. And that's done very nicely. Love the transparent plastic there. For hands, he has the 2 fist hands, then a whole slew of other hands for various poses. You should be just fine with all of that. We do have his 2 knives, which come on him in the package, but they are accessories. They're in the boot sheets. Very nicely done. We have the knives as they are illuminated and being thrown or swung, and those look really nice. They did a really good job with the shading on that. We have a shock effect to snap onto another figure's chest. That's pretty nicely done. And then you also get the blood splatter hand grab thing as far as effect parts go, so that's pretty good. And you get this potato covered in ketchup for him to remove from said person's torso after using that other effect part. So that's a pretty good spread of accessories. The only thing this thing's missing is like a flight stand or something. You don't really need that for KANO, so I like it. I can't think of anything else I'd really want. It's pretty darn good. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. That's a good spread of accessories. Okay, as far as articulation goes, it's gonna be standard Storm fare, but how does it operate? How does it work on this release? We do have a shorter peg in the neck. We've kind of been seeing that a lot lately. and that does mean the head pops off easier than other figures. So if you're trying to lift it up higher rather than leaving it squashed down, which I definitely recommend, you have very little range to do that. But you can, if you bring his head forward, it tucks it into his shirt. Okay, if you bring it back though, it does look back and it leans side to side. You have a ball peg going down into the torso. So this is a double ball peg and this is a soft neck, and it'll just flex the neck as you move the head around, and it does work. Just be aware he's got a lot of thickness up here and a relatively short neck that you're gonna have to kind of play around with to make it look right. I can't get it to do much better than that. I guess that's okay right there, but let's see. Yeah, I still had his head up some. So yeah, just be careful with that, but you can pose the head around pretty well. It should be good enough. Like, it does limit forward and back. You can see it's also moving the torso, so you have to hold the torso pretty solidly as you're leaning the neck. But once you do that, it works. Okay, for the shoulders, we have the big ball peg that goes all the way into the torso that lets them move around. Plenty of range there. And then on that ball hinge, you get extra range. There is shading in the skin. I don't think I mentioned that. I'm on so many allergy medicines right now, guys. It's a wonder that I'm even getting through these reviews. Skin looks nice. Anyway, shoulders, pretty good range. All joints together, he can raise his arms, no problem at all. Full rotation. His shoulders look exceptionally large. This release is very muscular, very strong. All right, bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbows. These guys, how separate are these pieces? They are fully separate. Okay, so you can rotate them if you want to. Double jointed elbows, still just a little bit better than 90. I think there are two things Storm really needs to work on their figures just to get them that little extra step. That would be the elbow range and then the ankle range. We'll see how his work out. But it's not bad. His wrists are on ball hinges, no problem there. Torso is going to have the same kind of range it normally does. A ball peg at the bottom, double ball peg in here, but because this is all one piece, you can do it, but it's going to bunch and get even more cluttered up around his neck. So I would leave him leaning back as much as you can to kind of thin him out, stretch out that torso, and then just kind of use this piece down here. But you do get it in here. You can see the split. Just not going to be all that useful. But yeah, that actually does. If you lean him back a good bit, you can kind of... It looks like it leaned him out a little bit, maybe. Not leaning all that far back, really, either. But it'd probably help. Yeah, I would recommend that. Okay, so you saw the waist twist, and it does twist in there, though I'm not going to do it because it's going to be a pain in the butt. You can do it. This is a separate piece. If you want to take that off, I guess you could, or... I don't know if it was just easier for them to make it that way or what. I'm not that familiar with, what was it, Mortal Kombat 3 that he came out in? Maybe there's a version of him without his belt. I don't know. Anyway, this whole skirt piece is separate from this piece, so it's not gonna affect posability at all, so that's a pretty good thing. Doesn't look great when you lean him back. You get this kind of belt effect going on, but it's not so bad back here. I guess it's a sacrifice. As far as the hips go, let's see what we can do. Let's get the arms out of the way. I have to note, by the way, so far the joints move nicely. They're nice and creamy. No particularly stuck joints, no loose ones. Full-on splits, I like that. That's a very nice thing to see, and you didn't hear too much squeaking. A little bit, but nothing crazy. Going forward, pretty good range. I'd say that's far enough. Could get a little higher, I guess. Going back, same thing. Yeah, this guy's got some good posing. I like it. Torso's going to be a pain in the butt, but it's there, so that's all right. Thigh swivel, pretty limited thigh swivel. Got a weird little lump at the top of his thigh. You guys see that? I'm guessing they did that to make it look like... I don't know why they did that. I guess they probably could have just not done that. I don't know why they did that. It does look a little bit weird. Yeah, thigh swivel's limited. His thighs do look fairly thin compared to the rest of his chungus, but not too bad. Double jointed knees, just better than 90. Could definitely have better range there, but they're not bad looking at all, so that's good. And then the ankles, like I said, let's see. They go all the way back, that's normal. I bet they don't go very far forward though. And almost no range forward. That's what I want. I need more range going forward because the toe hinges, they're there and they're okay. It's well placed and it's not super floppy, but it's still not strong enough for most poses. Not easy to balance, and the ankle rocker is not great. So they could adjust the ankles quite a bit and bring a lot more versatility to the figures. But all in all, this guy does pose very nicely. He's pretty good looking, as a figure, I mean. And, I mean, maybe he's your type, I don't know. But articulation-wise, I will go... I'm only going to do, for Storm, I'm going to say 7. This congestion up here an extra chunk does limit the torso and the neck quite a bit. So it's not bad, but be aware of those issues. Arms and legs work pretty well, but those issues are an issue, or are issues for sure. Okay, final verdict on this guy. It looks pretty good, has great accessories, and it poses pretty well. It just isn't perfect, which I think is okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's not going to get him a super high score. I think I'm going to give him an 8. Really, really strong release. It's just not as good as it could have been for a few simple things that could have been changed, I think. But definitely a strong release. If you're into KANO, then you're probably going to want to get it. If not, then maybe not. And I was going to say, should I make a KANO head for like the other version? But I don't have time. I just don't have the time. Maybe someday. But for now, this is what you get. So I think it's a strong release and you guys should probably check it out. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.